Where do you go to? Now let's go to this subtopic. Subtopic: preparation and retention of audit working papers. Preparation and retention of audit working papers. A subtopic: preparation and retention of audit working papers. Preparation and retention of audit working papers. Preparation and retention of audit working papers as required by the Companies Act. 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 Preparation and retention of the audit working papers as required by the Companies Act. So, audit working papers is a part of what you call audit documentation. Audit documentation. Auditor documentation. Audit working papers is part of the auditor documentation, which is contained in ISA 230, International Standards on Auditing 230, Audit Documentation, International Standards on Auditing 230, which requires auditors to maintain sufficient and adequate audit documentation, sufficient and adequate auditor documentation. Auditors do express an opinion. They do express opinion on the financial statements, by performing certain procedures. They perform certain procedures and test the substantive procedures or the compliance procedures. In doing so, this enables them to obtain what you call audit evidence. What is called auditor evidence. This evidence needs to be documented in what we call the working papers. So working papers contain material information or the facts, which enables auditors to arrive at a certain conclusion or to arrive at a certain auditor opinion. So all those procedures performed by the auditor, the conclusions made by the auditor, the judgments made by the auditor needs to be documented in what we call the working papers, papers. Now, we have this issue of the ownership and custody of the working papers. Ownership and the custody of the working papers. Ownership and the custody of the working papers. This happens to be a contentious matter on who has the rights for ownership and the custody of the working papers. Is it the auditor or the client? This matter went to the court in 1938. And the court ruled in favor of the auditor to be the one who should be having the ownership and the custody rights for the working papers. The ISA 230 also recognized auditor to be the bona fide owner of the working papers. So let's write something pertaining to this subtopic on the preparation and retention of audit working papers as required by the Companies Act, and also the provision of ISA 230. Yes, Nation is not in this class. Nation. Siku hizi online mlitoka sana. Rose and Victor. Sorry, online. Sorry, no physical class. Physical class siku hizi mliacha.
Timings ndio mbaya mwalimu.
Timings
ndio mbaya. Tuko busy.
Mimi
niko busy kidogo.
Umeleta noma.
Mm.
Okay. You used to smile a lot here.
Tarudi.
Victor, you are okay? Victor.
Yes, sir.
Uko salama?
Niko salama.
Okay, sawa. Baadaye kuna jamaa alikuwa anataka namba yako Victor. And I don't have it. Sasa you can send it to me. Nimsaidie. So let's now put down the following under this subtopic on preparation and retention of audit working papers as required by the Companies Act. As required by the Companies Act. As required by the Companies Act. Ama we can minimize writing today, sindio? Si umechoka na kuandika pia sasa? Yes. So that we just discuss this matters with the working papers. Alafu tusonge mbele, sindio? So that will be okay. Will that one be okay?
Like you send a handout.
Yes, I send you a soft copy, we discuss it, then we move on. Though it's not fully complete, but it can help us at this time. So I can send you this copy. Alafu we discuss these two areas which is remaining this topic. Thereafter, you can proceed on to the next chapter. So, Ama, you prefer just writing the notes? Do I send for you the copy? We just keep on writing.
You can send the copy, then highlight the missing areas.
Okay, so I send the copy. So I have Rose's number. Rose, I want to send this one to you. Then please share with the class.
Sawa mwalimu.
Rose nimetuma. So share with your colleagues there. Rose, have you received it? Rose, umeona hiyo handout?
Yes, mwalimu, I have shared.
Okay, so great. So I've also done the screen share from my end. Done the screen share from my end. So I'm taking that particular page. So that's where we have now. Preparation and retention of audit working papers as required by the Companies Act. So I hope you can see that page from your end. So working papers are contents. The working papers are contents. So in accordance with the IS, that should not be IS, sorry for that. It should be in accordance with the ISA 230. In accordance with the ISA 230, working papers should be sufficiently complete and detailed to provide an overall understanding of the audit. Those are essential qualities of a good working paper. We do have essential qualities of a good working paper. Essentials of qualities of good working papers. Essential qualities of good working papers. The qualities of good working papers. Qualities of good working papers, which is very important for us to have that knowledge. So we can have a summary of that. Qualities of good working papers. 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 Good working papers. Qualities of good working papers. Qualities of good working papers. Qualities of good working papers. So what are some of the essential qualities of a good working papers? One, they should be complete as possible. They should be complete. It should be complete. They should be complete. They should be complete as possible. They should be complete as possible. Number two, quality. They should be properly indexed. They should They should be properly indexed. 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 Next quality, all symbols, any symbol, any symbol, any symbol, any symbol used should be explained. 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 Another one, they should be properly headed. They should be properly headed. They should be properly headed. Properly headed. They should be properly headed. They should be properly headed. Next, they should be properly bound. 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 Next, they should be well secured under key and lock. They should be well secured under key and lock. They should be well secured under key and lock. They should be well secured. They should be well secured. Well secured. They should be well secured under key and lock. Under key and lock. Under key and lock. They should be well secured under key and lock. They should be well secured under key and lock. Next, they should be kept for sufficient period. They should be kept for sufficient period. They should be kept. They should be kept for a sufficient period. For a sufficient period of time. For a sufficient period of time. For a sufficient period of time. They should be kept for a sufficient period of time. The other one, they should be prepared neatly. They should be prepared neatly. They should be prepared neatly. They should be prepared neatly and tidily. They should be prepared neatly and tidily. Then the last one, any personal judgment must be clearly explained. Any personal judgment must be clearly explained. Any personal judgment must be clearly explained. So those are the qualities that should be observed when working papers are to be maintained by the auditor. Those are the essential features of good working papers. So we continue that particular paragraph. So in accordance with the ISA 230, the working paper should be sufficiently complete and detailed to provide an overall understanding of the audit. The working paper should contain information on planning the audit, the nature, timing, and extent of the audit procedures performed, and the results thereof, and the conclusion drawn from the audit evidence obtained. They should contain the engagement team's reasoning on all significant matters which require the exercise of judgment together with the conclusions thereon. In addition, on areas involving difficult question of principles or judgment, the working paper should contain the relevant facts that were known by the engagement team at the time the conclusions were reached. So next is now that why document? So what's the importance of audit documentation? What's the importance of auditor documentation? So one, working papers assist in the planning and performance of the audit and to enable a methodical approach to be adopted. So the working papers assist auditors in planning the audit work for them to achieve efficiency and effectiveness on how audit engagement shall be performed. Number two, assist in the supervision and review of the audit work performed. Like a very good example is an auditor program, which is used to issue instruction to the audit assistants regarding the audit procedures to be undertaken, the audit objectives to be attained. And at the end, the working papers can also facilitate a review of work to be done, a review of the work performed to be done. Next is that record audit evidence resulting from the audit work performed to support the auditor's opinion. And next, provide details of the problems encountered, including difficult and contentious matters, how these were resolved and conclusion are reached. And next, enables an experienced reviewer and connecting the audit to understand the work performed and the base of the principal decision taken, but not the detailed aspects of the audit. The last point there, the use of standardized working papers, e.g. checklist, specimen letters, and working papers can improve the efficiency with which working papers are prepared and reviewed. They facilitate the delegation of work while providing means to control quality. So those are some of the reasons why working papers are very important. And for that case, auditors need to document the material information on the facts obtained by them in the connection of performing the audit. Those points are quite very easier to remember. On our working papers, they provide evidence. Working papers facilitate planning. Working papers facilitate the review of the audit work performed. Working paper is a base of giving instruction to the auditor staff regarding the work to be work which they're supposed to be undertaking. So let's go to the objectives of audit documentation. So why is the standard very important when it comes to the performance of the audit? So what are the objectives of audit documentation? So audit documentation is necessary for the following reasons. So one, it provides evidence of the auditor's basis for the conclusion about the achievement of the overall objectives. Two, it provides evidence that the audit was planned and performed in accordance with the ISAs and other legal and regulatory requirements. The next, it assists the engagement team to plan and perform the audit. Next point, it assists team members responsible for supervision to direct, supervise, and review audit work. Next, it enables the team to be accountable for its work. Next point, it allows a record of matters of continuous significance to be retained. Then the last one, it enables the conduct of quality control reviews and inspection, both internal and external. Yes, if you recall, quality control is 220. One of the procedure area was the documentation, where auditors are required to maintain sufficient and adequate documentation to facilitate the review of the auditor work. Our next important area is on the form and the content of the working papers. So the standard also provide the requirements or the factors to be considered of the matters that affect the form and the content of the working papers, the form and the content of the working papers. So the ISA requires working papers to be sufficiently complete and detailed to provide an overall understanding of the audit. Auditors cannot record everything they consider. Therefore, judgment must be used as to the extent of working papers based on the following general rule. The form and content of the working papers are affected by matters such as one, the size and complexity of the entity. Yes, if the entity is bigger, it's quite very complex. A lot of work will have to be undertaken. And that one means that auditors have to increase the sample size, increase the substantive procedures to be undertaken, hence maybe more of the working papers shall be obtained. Next, the nature of the audit procedures to be performed. So the what procedures to be undertaken by the auditor, are they going to perform extensive audit procedures or limited audit procedures? Will also have an influence on the form and the content of the working papers. The other ones that identify the risk of material misstatements. If there is a high risk of material misstatements in the client entity, then a lot of our procedures shall be undertaken, and that will also have got a big impact on the form and the content of the working papers to be obtained by the auditor. The other one is the significance of the audit evidence obtained. So how important is that audit evidence to be, that has been obtained by the auditor? The last one is the nature and the extent of exceptions identified. So those are the factors that affect the form and the content of the working papers as stipulated as per the standards. So next we have the examples of the working papers, examples of audit working papers, examples of the audit working papers, examples of the audit working papers. So there are quite a number of them. So one is information obtained in understanding the entity and its environment, including its internal control, such as the following. Information concerning the legal documents, agreements, and minutes. Extracts or copies of the important legal documents, agreements, and minutes. Information concerning the industry, economic environment, and legislative environment within which entity operates. The next extract from the entity's internal control manual. Then B, evidence of the planning process, including audit programs and any changes thereto. C, evidence of the auditor's consideration of the work of the internal audit and conclusion reached. Then D, analysis of the transaction and balances. E, analysis of the significant ratio and trends, analytical review procedures deployed. Then F, identify and assess risk of material misstatements. G, a record of the nature, timing, extent, and results of the auditor procedures. H, evidence that the work performed was supervised and reviewed. Then I, an indication as to who performed the audit procedures and when they were performed. Then J, details of audit procedures applied regarding components whose financial statements are audited by another auditor. In bracket there, group audit. The K, copies of communication with other auditors, experts, and other third parties. Then I, copies of the letters or notes concerning audit matters communicated to or discussed with the management or those charged with the governance, including the terms of the engagement and significant deficiencies in internal control. Then M, written representation received from the management of the entity. And next, conclusion reached by the auditor concerning significant aspect of the audit, including how exceptions and unusual matters, if any disclosed by the auditor's procedures, were resolved or treated. Next, copies of the financial statements and auditor's report. And next, notes of discussion about significant matters with the management and others. Next, in exceptional circumstances, the reasons for departing from the basic principle or essential procedure of an ISA and how the alternative procedures performed achieve the auditor objectives. So next we have for recurring audits, working papers may be split between. So this is now the part of the organization of the working papers. There are two categories of the files normally maintained by the auditor. What we call the permanent audit file, the PF. Then the other one is the current auditor file, So the PF normally contains those working papers for the long-term importance of an audit. And the PF normally contains those working papers for long-term importance for the audit. They used to go beyond 1 year period. They used to go beyond 1 year period or beyond the current year's audit. The current audit file to contain those working papers for temporary importance of the audit. Much of it are those working papers which are relevant for the current year's audit. We need to have idea in terms of the content of the working papers in the permanent audit file and the current auditor file. A brief idea on what should be stored in the permanent audit file, then the current auditor file. So the permanent audit file contains information of continued importance to the audit, or for the permanent importance to the audit, or long-term importance to the audit. This contains one, engagement letters. So a copy of engagement letter, utaipata wapi, or the permanent audit file. Another one is a new client questionnaire. The other one, memorandum and articles, the memorandum and articles of association. Next, other legal documents such as prospectus, leases, sales agreement. Next, details of the history of the client business. Next, the board minutes of continuing relevance. Other matters also that will be stored under permanent audit file is a copy of the organization structure, a copy of the organization structure. The other one, it could be a list of investment the entity has, a list of the investments the entity has, a list of the investment the entity has. The other one will be the physical address and the contacts, the physical address and contacts of key officers in the client entity. The address, so the physical address and contacts of the key personnel in the client entity. The next we go to the current audit file, the current audit file. So this contains information of relevance to the current year's audit. This should be compiled on a timely basis after the completion of the audit and should contain one, financial statements. That's a comprehensive list of the current year's financial statements, which should be duly signed by the management. Which should be duly signed by the management. Which should be duly signed by the management.
So what we mean by this, sometimes you have another control should be in the
That one is accounts checklist, The other one, management accounts details, reconciliation of management and financial accounts, a summary of adjusted errors, report to partner, including details of significant events and errors, review notes, audit planning memorandum, time budgets and summaries, written representation, report to management, notes of the board minutes, communication with third parties such as experts or other auditors. So they also contain working papers covering each audit area. This should include the following: a lead schedule including details of the figures to be included in the accounts. So what could be missing here is something like an auditor program. Audit program is also normally stored under current audit file. An audit program is also normally kept under the current auditor file. Internal control questionnaire. I don't know whether it has been mentioned somewhere here. Internal control questionnaire is also one of the documents stored under current audit file. Internal control questionnaires. So then we go to the preparation of the working papers. So all working papers, except those prepared electronically, should be clean, neat, legible, and prepared in ink. To ensure that working papers are easily identifiable, they should clearly contain one, the client's name, subject matter, accounting period, preparer's initial and the date prepared, reviewer's initial and the date reviewed, schedule reference within a sequential indexing system following the mails as scheduled references listed on a master index. So then we have got two categories of the working papers, standardized and automated working papers. The standardized and automated working papers. So standardized is one whose content is predetermined in advance. It's uniform in its application. It can be used to audit all clients. The standardized audit working papers can be used to audit all clients. Then the automated working papers is one that which exists in a form of electronic program, in a formal electronic program. For that case, it is used in a computerized working environment. So the use of standardized working papers, for example, checklists and specimen letters, may improve the efficiency of the audit work, but they can be dangerous because they may lead to auditors mechanically following the approach without using audit judgment. Then automated working papers packages have been developed, which can make the documentation of the audit work much easier. Such programs aid preparation of the working papers, lead schedules, the trial balance, and the financial statements themselves. These are automatically cross-referenced, adjusted, and balanced by the computer. So the advantages of automated working papers are as follows. One, the risk of errors is reduced as computers are more accurate in their processing, so there will be minimal errors. Next, the working papers will be neater and easier to review. Three, the time save will be substantial as adjustments can easily be made to all working papers, including those summarizing the key analytical information. Next, standard forms do not have to be carried to audit locations. Then the last one, audit working papers can be transmitted for review by a modern or fax facilities. So then we have the safe custody and retention of the working papers. So working papers are generally the properties of the auditor. For that case, auditors are the one who should maintain the safe custody of the working papers. So working papers are the property of the auditors. They are not a substitute for, nor part of the entity's accounting records. Auditors must follow ethical guidance on the confidentiality of the audit working papers. They may at the discretion release parts of or whole working papers to the entity as long as disclosure does not undermine the independence or validity of the auditor process. Information should not be made available to the third parties without the permission of the entity. The auditor to adopt appropriate procedures for maintaining the confidentiality and safe custody of the working papers and for retaining them for a period to meet the needs of the practice and in accordance with the legal and professional requirements of record retention. The working papers are the property of the auditor. The engagement team should maintain strict confidentiality of the information obtained during the course of the audit. In certain cases, the working papers may have to be availed to the third parties where required by law or for quality control reviews. To protect the firm, the instances where the papers may have to be made available to third parties must be notified to the client in the engagement letter. ISPAC has developed a policy on the retention of the working papers, which may be followed by the firm, or the firm may develop an internal policy which must be consistently followed. The guideline for retention of audit working papers issued by ISPAC in technical release number 7, 2003 recommends that 1, audit working papers relating to an engagement is the subject of an existing litigation should not be destroyed until the litigation is over and the judgment thereon settled. If the judgment is not settled, the working paper should be maintained for at least 12 years from the date of the judgment or from the date the action required by the judgment becomes due. The next, under other circumstances, the working paper should be retained for at least 8 years after the date of the adoption of the financial statements by the owners, to cater for 6 years required by the Limitation of Action Act for action founded in contracts, and an additional 2 years to take into account the possible period of reliance that could be placed on auditor's report and the initial period for the commencement of legal proceedings. That's all that we have with regarding to audit working papers, maintenance, and retention. So let's take a few minutes break. Then when we come back, we look at this last part of archiving of audit files, archiving of auditor files.
And then number four, we have protection. Number four, we have the bond. Then number five, we have the capital. We have the capital. We have the capital. Sorry, the capital. So these are the different types of these are the different types of tasks. So we need to find that here I will do a page. So the function they indicate the partial contribution of each value to a graph. We indicate the fraction and then a bar chart, then a bar chart, then a bar chart. So a bar chart, they are used to compare value against value. So they will ask you a very simple question in what you are what here. Each one of the following compare the values against the table. These what the things. So they give their partner, so it is only come on, or five to run, so the partner they do they are able to compare one and then also we have the standard. So the they compare one on the same as they compare one on the same. They compare one on the same as. So I want to do this one. I so I will read some kind so that we come up with the and then we try to allow the people to have all the elements, we do all the elements, we can use our education, we can even we can have we can make sure that we all that level by so we use it more than go up to head to what? Go up to head to what? So now it's so yes, they are trying to do the data, so we and then we try to use the local step where we select control A, and then we insert these are the charts. Okay. So then we start the column. Then in the column, you can see we have the 3D, and we have also we have the 3D, then we have so maybe we can select one, then you have 3D, and then you are realized that we have the people element. Like when we come here, we have what? We have title, and then we have one which we have also so then these are also something that we down here. But we have the layout here. We have layout, we have that the layout where we have different items to work. Where we have different items for work. Layouts. You can select the layout. Wow. Like for example, the first here we have this one has the the y x axis. We have the data set and yet so mana kau ini dalam bentuk dua ini So, this is the one. So what we mean by the people element, one, I can say that lately, I need to report that I need to symbolize the income. Now, the same. So what of my I will get the income, then you get the job. Let's say, then you start. And now, you can keep the recommended. You can make the recommended down there. You will be able to show the recommendation we are important. You can use this is the column here, but in other column here, we have also another column there. We have the bar, we have the word, the line that we have. So you really have to know that information. You really have there is a people there, like something like that. Every time you get the password, you are okay. That is what we mean by data visualization. Una guía de una ukiweka content kwamba ni interpret hiyo data inakuwa somehow to follow up. You find that it is more, it is easier to do it. It is easier to report, it is visualize that. Like when how to familiar with that, this is how each have an idea and para what have been para column. Not the one is one, you do the line. So going to the part, at least you can say something about it. And like now, when you are looking at the value, it's a type of challenge. One of the values we are going to the one. We are going to the record. But if you visualize that one, it's very important for us to you need to know how to do that. And the only know you need to take part in that. Make sure that you have the all so in the column. And you are taking the work. If I come to the design, here you can select the design and then you are settled with that design. But you need maybe we need to have the
angalia kitabu ukiangalia itakuchanganya tu bure, kuna mtu mengi. So we are on archiving of audit files, the last subtopic for this chapter. We do have these notes in the group. Una notes is for group hapo, soft copy of this. Yes, in the group. I don't have a hard copy of this time. For this one, I don't have. For this one, I don't have a hard copy. The producer hard copy. So, archiving of audit files. You don't have access of a soft copy? Just sort of a kulia, so I didn't mind taking this. Well, they're going to send it. So archiving of audit files. So archiving should be regarded as a critical component of any company and should be incorporated into every organization records management strategy. Archives are live historical documents. They are valuable to companies because they provide documentation, explanation, and justification for both the past and the current action. Archiving documents used by organizations and enterprises to meet information retention obligations and to guarantee that archive data is available. We have the very last page of it. Very last page. Archiving documents is used by organizations and enterprises to meet information retention obligations and to guarantee that archive data is available when needed. For example, in the event of a disagreement over business activity, contract, or financial transaction, the archive documents relevant to that issue can be retrieved. An archive system is audit-proof when it can sufficiently ensure that a document cannot be altered or lost from the point of its arrival in the archive, its transport, and up until its a final storage and beyond. The results archive includes reports, assessment test, entity audit trail, privacy test, classification process, and the view and sign-off trials and the accumulated comments from workflow process. Use archive results for compliance purposes. Then you do have the benefits of archiving audit files. So one, prevents data loss, prevents data loss. So number two, reduce operation cost. Then three, improve security. Then number four, enhance compliance. Documents preservation is also necessary for legal reasons. Many organizations inadvertently destroy records that are legally required to retain. So 5 legal claims in the event that the business is sued by the third party, whether client, employee, or another firm, you may be asked to produce particular papers to support your case. Then 6, audit proof. An audit entails checking your privacy records to ensure they are correct and is considered the main benefit of archiving. An archive system is audit proof when it can assure that that document cannot be changed or lost from time it enters the archive through transportation, through final storage, and beyond. The benefits and the life experience of various data archiving techniques and data archiving programs vary. The amount of data being handled is simply one of the factors that will determine the optimal archival data solution for your company. Archived files are stored depending on their types. Paper documents are usually stored in special cabinets, while electronic documents are often archived using a variety of methods, including tape, disk, and hard drives. Organizations should select a media based on their archiving strategy and the budget. Then lastly, we have the tools for archiving data. So one is the tape. Yeah, this is a very old one. It's an old method of the data storage. Then you have the cloud. This is the latest, the modern way of storing data, where you store data in the cloud platform. One of the services provided for the for the cloud services is a Google company. They do offer data space or data storage, which can be done through the internet. Then you have the disk. These are portable data storage devices. They replace the tape. They're more convenient and flexible to use as compared to a tape. Then the last one, to go on the hard drives as another tool for archiving data. So class, that will now bring us to the end of this topic, the end of this particular topic of the management of auditor practice, the management of the auditor practice. So that's the end of that topic on the management of the auditor practice. So let's take a few minutes to have a look at certain questions. Some questions to see how we can answer them. So come to your first paper. The first question is please sitting for August 2022, August 2022, August 2022, August 2022, August 2022, August 2022. Question number 3 C. August 2022. Question number 3 C. Question number 3 C. Question number 3 C. Question number 3 C. August 2022. Question number 3 C. 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 August 2022, question number 3 C. Question number 3 C. So the question raised like this: explain how audit files are archived and retrieved for a large organization. Explain how audit files are archived and retrieved for a large organization. So how are files are stored and how can they be accessed in a large organization? Explain how audit files are archived and retrieved for a large organization. So that questions are 4 marks. The examiner just want you to be able to demonstrate your understanding of what does archiving means, and also how does the retrieval takes place. So retrieval is the aspect of now accessing the data to a number of tools which can be used, the hard drive or the cloud-based support system. So let's just go an extra mile by saying that archiving document means storing them in a secure and organized way. In a secure and organized way. In a secure and organized way. In a secure and organized way, so that one can free up space, one can free up space and reduce clutter and protect them from accidental deletion or modification. From accidental deletion or modification. From accidental deletion or modification. From accidental deletion or modification.
Or as well.
There are different methods and tools. There are different methods for archiving documents. There are different methods and tools for archiving documents. There are different methods and tools for archiving documents. depending on the organization needs and preferences. Depending on the organization needs and preferences. Depending on the organization needs and preferences. E.g. cloud storage. E.g. cloud storage. E.g. cloud storage, such as Google Drive, such as Google Drive, such as Google Drive, or Dropbox, or Dropbox, or Dropbox, or Dropbox, which stores documents online, which stores documents online, which stores document online, which stores document online, and access them from any device, and access them from any device, and access them from any device, and access them from any device. Also external devices, also external devices, also external devices, also external devices, such as USB flash, such as USB flash drive, USB flash drive, or hard disk, such as USB flash drive or hard disk, for storing documents offline, for storing documents offline, for storing documents offline. Okay, document management system, document management system, document management system, like SharePoint, document management system like SharePoint, document management system like SharePoint, or Docware, or Docware, or Docware, or Docware. Sounds like a Kikuyu. Docware can help store, organize, can help store, organize, and manage documents, and manage documents, and manage documents in a centralized and a structured way, in a centralized and a structured way, in a centralized and a structured way, in a centralized and a structured way. It also allows for creating folders. It also allows for creating folders. It also allows for creating folders. It also allows for creating folders, tagging documents, tagging documents, tagging documents with metadata, with metadata, with metadata, with metadata, with metadata, with metadata, and applying rules and workflows, and applying rules and workflows for archiving, and applying rules and workflows for archiving. You can also integrate it with other application. You can also integrate it with other application. You can also integrate it with other application. You can also integrate it with other applications. You can also integrate it with other applications like emails, or scanning software, or scanning software. First on the archiving, what about retrieval? So the couple, how to retrieve archived documents. 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 Then you write retrieving archived documents. Retrieving archived documents. Retrieving archived documents means assessing them when you need them. Assessing them when you need them. Assessing them when you need them. Either for reference, revision or restoration. Revision or restoration. Revision or restoration. Retrieval can be done. Retrieval can be done in different ways. Retrieval can be done in different ways. Retrieval can be done in different ways, depending on how the data was archived. Depending on how the data was archived. Depending on how the data was archived. If they are stored in a cloud service, 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 you can access them from any device. You can access them from any device. You can access them from any device with an internet connection, with an internet connection and a browser, by logging into your account, and navigating to the folder, or location where they are stored. 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 Additionally, you can use the search function. Additionally, you can use the search function. Additionally, you can use the search function. Additionally, you can use the search function or the version history feature, or the version history feature, or the version history feature to find the document, to find the document, to find the document, to find the document. Okay, next. If your documents are stored on external device, 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 you can access them. You can access them. You can access them by connecting it, to a computer or another device, to a computer or another device that can read it, to a computer or another device that can read it. Therefore, then you understand what to do. Just go to the file folder. There you can then you can find your document where it has been stored. Okay. If your documents are stored in document management system, if your documents are stored in a document management system, if your documents are stored in a document management system, you can access them. You can access them from the interface, by logging into your account, and navigating to the folder, or category, where they are stored, You may also use the search function. You may also use the search function, or metadata, to find the document, Yes, also your question is only 4 marks. Mean that even the examiner was not very much sure on what they are requiring you to answer, but we'll try to go very brief in answering that question. We explained the storage media for archiving the data. I love how that can also be done in terms of a retrieval, where you just need to connect the device maybe to a machine, or ensure that your machine is connected to the internet. Thereafter, you can find the folder or the file where the data has been stored. Then you access it. So it was just a simple question, but requires you to understand what are these two terms, archiving and retrieval. What does they mean? So check December 2022. December 2022. Question number 2, part A. December 2022, question number 2, part A. December 2022, question number 2A. December 2022, question number 2A. Question number 2A. December 2022, question number 2A. Question number 2A. So I'll request Rose to read for us that question. Rose, kindly read for us that question.
Okay. During a recent seminar on adapting the audit approach to emerging technological changes, a presenter made the following statement. To ensure a successful audit of the internet/mobile banking applications, the audit team must understand the business environment in which they are operating and the prevailing conditions such as regulatory requirements, business requirements, and stakeholders' needs. The audit team needs to put together a robust internet/mobile banking and electronic payment application audit program. Required. With reference to the above statement, discuss 4 areas of the internet/mobile banking applications and supporting information technology, that is IT, infrastructure that should be reviewed to confirm the adequacy of controls and ensure security of the applications.
So with reference to the above statement, discuss 4 areas of the internet/mobile banking application, supporting information technology, IT infrastructure that should be reviewed to confirm the adequacy of controls, ensure security of the applications. So which areas needs to be checked, to be reviewed? So you can answer that question. So which are some of the areas that needs to be reviewed? So number one is the proper definition of the internet and mobile banking, proper definition of the internet/mobile banking, the definition of the proper definition of the internet/mobile banking application, problem definition. Number two, adequate user training. Adequate users training to effectively understand the pros and cons of using internet mobile applications. The pros and cons of using internet mobile applications. Internet mobile applications. The other one is adequate documentation. Of the internet mobile applications development. Next, data security and management. Data security and management for the internet mobile applications systems. Data security and management for the internet mobile applications systems. For the internet mobile application systems, e.g. data encryption, data encryption, data encryption, data encryption, use of the firewalls, use of the firewalls, use of the firewalls. Next, restricted access, restricted access, restricted access, restricted access. Restricted access to certain aspect of the internet mobile banking applications, internet mobile banking applications, internet mobile banking applications, internet mobile banking applications. The other one is adequate system testing, adequate system testing and implementation before use, adequate system testing and implementation before use. Another one is continued monitoring. Continued monitoring, review and maintenance of the system, continued monitoring, review and maintenance of the system. The other ones are use of authorized, use of authorized, use of authorized, application protocols, use of authorized application protocols, use of authorized application protocols. The other one's a two-factor authentication process, a two-factor authentication process, a two-factor authentication process to enhance mobile security, a two-factor authentication process to enhance mobile security. So those are the things that needs to be reviewed to ensure at least system security of that applications. So that's it. Like, I don't have any other question to look at. Yeah, so, so check May 2019. May 2019, question 1. May 2019, question 1. Check May 2019, question 1. 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 A disruptive technology like cloud computing can impact on how to audit. The above phrase was extracted from an article featured in an international auditing journal. So required, describe 3 auditing challenges that are associated with cloud computing environments. So let's answer that question. First of all, we need to understand what's cloud computing. So cloud computing, which is just an aspect of a technology. Cloud computing, cloud computing, cloud computing, cloud computing. So write that cloud computing is the delivery. Cloud computing is the delivery. Cloud computing is the delivery. Cloud computing is the delivery of computing devices, e.g. servers, storage, databases, networking, software, analytics, and intelligence, over the internet, in bracket, cloud. Over the internet is bracket cloud. That's cloud computing is an aspect of technology which allows for management, access, and storage of the computer resources, which can be shared by the internet. So those are key aspects of use of computer resources. Another quality, data storage of data. So you can store data in the cloud platform. These are all part of also the programs, like the applications, the softwares, which instead of having them installed in your computer, you can access them from the cloud service provider. These are also something like the printing services. Instead of you having your own printer, you can have your work being printed at a certain remote location, There's a copy to come on the server. So instead of you having to go out there, buy a server, have it installed within your system, you can get those services from the cloud service provider. You have the server, you manage files for your data. It also manage the programs, just certain programs which manage certain programs. So this word cloud computing is used metaphorically. Inatumika metaphorically from the word cloud mawingu. And mawingu always look like just a big ball, just a kind of a connection, interconnection. There's a lot of interconnection for certain devices which are linked by what? The internet. And those resources can be accessed and they can be managed by that kind of over network. Hence the name cloud what? A cloud computing, that kind of what? Interconnection. Where you have a storage in a certain different location, you have your PC, your office level here, you have a server, somewhere also connected, you have a printer also connected somewhere. So there's a lot of interconnection with the computer resources, which can be accessed by what we call the internet. So there is a person who's providing those services for the data storage, for the programs, for the printing, for the server, and the same person also is the one who does the management of those particular computer resources. That person, and it was the cloud service provider. Very good example of the cloud service provider is the Google. So if you're storing your data on your computer drive, or maybe on a USB, what do? You can take them to the cloud platform. You buy a space there where you can store the data that are. The same also, if for example you want an application program like an accounting packages, instead of having it buying it from the vendor or getting somebody to develop it for you, to install it in a system, you can get that automatically from the cloud service provider. So it's always very cheaper to get the service from the cloud provider. We don't need to invest so much on the computer hardware and the computer software. So the cloud service provider will provide you those particular services for what you call meter basis. The meter basis or on demand basis. So you pay as you go. So the more you use the services, the more you're likely to pay. So you pay those services based on your data or the information and needs. So what are the challenges of the cloud computing? What are the challenges of the cloud computing? What are the challenges of cloud computing? So one is that data security and privacy, data security and privacy, data security and privacy, data security and privacy. Another one is high dependency on network, high dependency on network, high dependency on network. If the network is not there, the service will not be what? Available. The other one is the performance challenges. Performance challenges, especially if the vendor is not reliable, especially if the vendor is not reliable. Another is a lack of knowledge and expertise, lack of knowledge and expertise to use the IT aspect, lack of knowledge and expertise to use the ICT aspect. Next is lack of reliability and availability, lack of reliability and availability, lack of reliability and availability of cloud services, Next, lack of appropriate compliance, lack of appropriate data compliance policies, lack of appropriate data compliance policies to protect the cloud service users, to protect the cloud service users, to protect the cloud service users. Those are the challenges that one might go through as they use the cloud service. So in terms of the advantages of the benefits, they're quite very cheap. It's flexible. One can access that data at any given time. The cloud services are going to be quite cheaper. In terms of the advantages of cloud computing, the advantages of cloud computing, you find Comba is very cheaper. Is you pay on a demand basis or pay as you go, 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 pay as you go. Another one is that what else? Which allows the business flexibility, e.g., flexible working arrangements. It allows business flexibility, e.g., flexible working arrangements. It allows business flexibility, e.g., flexible working arrangements. Flexible working arrangements, flexible working arrangements. The other one is that data can be accessed anytime at any place. Data can be accessed at any time, anywhere. Data can be accessed at any time, anywhere. Next, reduced investment cost in acquiring expensive hardware and software. 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 And next, no need to hire consultants. So no need to hire IT experts. No need to hire IT experts. No need to hire IT experts to assist in maintaining the system. No need to hire IT experts to assist in maintaining the system. No need to hire IT experts to assist in maintaining the system. No need to hire the IT experts to assist in maintaining the system. Class, that's the end of that topic. So when we meet tomorrow, we shall look at certain topics. We only have 2 topics remaining, 2 more topics remaining. So one topic was sent in the WhatsApp group. That will be our last topic. But tomorrow we have got another topic that we shall be looking at when we meet from 8:30. So let's call it an evening, but tomorrow 8:30.
Good evening, Mwalimu.
So yes, valid. That's as usual. We did.